I'm Miss Van Loan, and in this video, we're going to complete Module 1, Lesson 9, Independent Practice. Remember, I recommend using your math notebook and using your paper the normal way, which is called portrait. Please use a pencil, either number 2 or mechanical, and have an eraser handy. For the purposes of this video, I will be using a blank sheet of white paper, and it will be in the landscape orientation. That is because it works better for the video camera. I'm also going to be using pen because it shows up better on camera. All right, let's get started. All right, let's do Module 1, Lesson 9, Independent Practice, and be sure to put your name on your paper. Number 1. Mrs. Jameson is purchasing some clay and other supplies for her art class. If the cost of the clay is $19 per pound, which of the following can be used to find the total cost if Mrs. Jameson buys 2.5 pounds? So number 1, $19 per pound of clay. And we're buying 2.5 pounds. So A says multiply 19 by 2.5. B says divide 2.5 by 19. C says divide 19 by 2.5, and D says multiply 19 by 2.12. So first of all, if it's $19 for every 1 pound, and we're getting more than 2 pounds, we're going to have to multiply. We need a bigger number. We need 19 plus another 19 plus another half. So that's 2.5 sets of 19 when you think about it in sets. In other words, we're going to have to multiply. So B and C we can eliminate immediately. Now, do we multiply 19 by 2.5 or do we multiply 19 by 2.12? Well, 1/2 is the same as 0.5. 0.5 is the same as a half, or 50%. So if you know your decimal, fraction, percent conversions, this is really easy to see that 1/2 in fraction form is the same as 0.5 in decimal form. So not that one. It'll be A. All right. Number 2, a coastal sand dune is being eroded by the ocean's waves at a rate of about 2 2/3 inches per year. Which of the following operations can be used to find the total amount of dune that will disappear over the next 4 years? So we've got, like a beach area, and we've got these sand dunes. Maybe like a little fence here. Maybe there's like a little path right down to the water. We've got like a little path. Here's the water. The waves are coming in. And they're eroding the sand. They're washing the sand away. Maybe over here we've got houses or apartments next to the ocean here. So we want to know these dunes, which are made out of sand, are getting washed away at a rate of 2 2/3 inches per year. Inches per year. Which of the following operations can be used to find the total amount of dune that will disappear over the next 4 years? 4 years. So if every year it's 2 2/3, that means we've got 4 sets of 2 2/3. Maybe we can think of it like this, right? We've got year 1, another year later, another year later, another year later. We've got four years. And each year, 2 2/3 is getting taken away. So we've got 4 sets of 2 2/3. In other words, we multiply 4 times 2 2/3. So of our options, A says multiply 2 2/3 by 4. And that's already the correct answer because we've got to multiply 2 2/3 by 4. B says divide 2 2/3 by 4. That's not correct. C says subtract 4 from 2 2/3. That's not correct. And D says add 4 to 2 2/3. That's not correct either. We've got to multiply. Okay. Let's do number 3. A diver is 21 1/8 feet below the surface of the water. A paraglider is 38 5/6 feet above the water. What is the distance between the diver and the paraglider? Okay, so let's put some water. We'll put a number line here. The glider is 38 5/6 feet above the water. The diver is 21 1/8 feet below the water. So glider, diver. I'm not going to do a beautiful picture on this one. Sorry, guys. Here, we'll just do a person. Okay. So if this is 0 and we've got this distance here and this distance here, and I know this is kind of reversed. 38 looks like it's smaller than 21. I didn't plan that out very well, but it's okay. We've got a distance here and a distance here. We're going to have to add them together, right? This is like negative 21 1/8, and this is like 38 5/6 positive on the number line. And we're finding distance, so we have to add them together. So 21 1/8 plus 38 5/6. So let's take the whole numbers and we'll put them off to the side so that we can add the whole numbers together. This is kind of like 21 plus 1/8 plus 38 plus 5/6. And so we can use commutative to rearrange this. So we'll do 21 plus 38 plus 1/8 plus 5/6. So now I can add 21 and 38. 8 plus 1 is 9. 3, 4, 5, 59. So these two add to 59. Now I need to add my 1/8 and my 5/6. So these I have to get a common denominator for in order to put them together. So 8 and 6, you could multiply this one by 6 over 6 and this one by 8 over 8, but there's actually a closer number. It's 24. So I'm going to do some work off to the side here. Let's do it up here. So 1/8 times my big 1 is going to equal something over 24. 8 times something gives me 24. And same thing here, 5/6 times the big 1 is going to equal something over 24. So here's how I get my common denominator to add them. So 8 times something is 24, 6 times something is 24. What are those numbers going to be? Go ahead and fill them in on your paper. All right, if you got 3, very good. 8 times 3 is 24, so we have to make it a big 1 so that we're just multiplying by 3 over 3 or multiplying by 1. And so 1 times 3 is 3. So this becomes 3/24. 1/8 is the same as 3/24. 6 times 4 is 24. So we've got to put a 4 on top here. 5 times 4 is 20. So 5/6 is the same as 20 24ths. So plus 20 24ths. And now I can just add these together. Remember, when you're adding, you keep the denominator the same. This is like saying I've got a pie that's broken up into 24 pieces. And let's say I had 3 of them shaded. 1, 2, 3. And now I'm going to add another 20 to them. I'm just adding. So it's still going to be out of 24 pieces, but instead of, I'm not multiplying, in other words. So I'm going to have 3 and 20 is 23. And now I can put this back together and have 59 and 23 24ths. Okay, let's do number 4. If -5 is multiplied by the point shown on the number line, will the product be less than -5, between -5 and 5, between 5 and 10, or greater than 10? So let's put the number line here, and 0 is about there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. And P looks like it's just bigger than 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks like it's right next to the 6. Maybe not right on it, but P is right there. So this is our point P, 7, 8, 9, 10. So is this going to be A, between 5 and 10? Oh, we'll do P multiplied by -5. So 6.1 maybe times -5, or maybe 6 and a quarter, 6 and 1/4 times -5, or maybe it's 6 times -5. So 6 times -5 would be -30, and if we had a little bit more than 6, like 0.1, then it would be -30 point something negative. So it's not going to be between 5 and 10, because that's where it's already at. And if we're multiplying by -5, the number is going to get bigger and very negative. So A is not correct. B, less than -5. And I think that's going to be our answer, but let's write down the other answers. Between -5 and 5. So if we know that our positive answer is being, or our positive number is getting multiplied by a negative, why would it include positives in the answer? Why would it be positive or negative? That doesn't make any sense at all. D says greater than 10. That's up here. Is it going to be bigger than 10 and positive? That doesn't make sense either. If we're multiplying by a negative, it's going to be negative down here. So the only one that works is going to be B, less than -5. Okay, number 5. We have another number line here. If point T is divided by 2/3, will the quotient be greater than T, between T and 0, between 0 and -T, or less than -T? So let's draw this. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Got -9 and +9. T is in between 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, and it's like in between here. T. Okay, so t is in between 3 and 4. Maybe it's 3.5. That's what it looks like it's close to 3.5. And we're going to multiply, no, we're going to divide. So t divided by 2/3. So let's say that it's 3.5, 3.5, and we're going to divide that by 2/3, 2/3. So we need to make this into an improper number. So 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 1, so we're going to multiply and then add. 6 plus 1 is 7, so this is 7/2 divided by 2/3. Do you remember how we divide fractions? Well, it's keep, change, flip. So the 7/2 stays 7/2. We keep it. We change the division symbol into multiplication, and then we flip 2 and 3. So this becomes 3/2. So when we divide by 2/3, we're going to multiply by 3/2. Keep, change, flip. You can remember KCF is really similar to KFC. So once you got the letters, you're like, wait, I don't flip this. I'm going to flip, right? I'm going to change this and flip this one, right? So you can figure it out if you can remember KFC, and then you're like, okay, it's KCF. Now we just multiply straight across. 7 times 3 is 21. 2 times 2 is 4. So 4 goes into 20. 4 times 5 is 20 with a remainder of 1. We could also do this long division. 21 divided by 4. 5 times 4 is 20. We have a remainder of 1. So this is 5 1/4. So if we have a number between 3 and 4, and we divide it by 2/3, we're going to get a little bit bigger number, something close to 5 1/4. We don't know what t is exactly. It's close to 3.5, so our answer will be close to 5 1/4. So let's see what our possible answers are. A says between t and 0. So that would be here. That's not correct. B says less than negative t, less than negative t. Well, negative t, 1, 2, 3, 4, these are negatives. Negative t is going to be over here, negative t. Less than negative t, a negative number? No, we got a positive number. It's a positive number divided by a positive number. We're going to get a positive answer. So that's not correct. C, greater than t. Is 5 1/4 greater than something in between 3 and 4? Is 5 1/4 greater than 3.5? Yes, so that's correct. Let's double check D. D says between 0 and negative t. So that's going to be here. Again, that's a negative number. Could it be, negative 1/2, negative 1.5, negative 2? No, it's not going to be negative at all. So that's not correct either. So the only one that's correct is C. Number 6, simplify. When we have a compound fraction here, we have 9/10 divided by 2/5. And when you see this, you might forget for a second that a fraction, and a big compound fraction like this, a fraction just means divide. So 9/10 divided by 2/5. Or 9 divided by 10 divided by 2 divided by 5, if we wanted to, break it all the way down. But we're not going to break it down that far. We're going to break it down to 9/10 divided by 2/5. 9/10 divided by 2/5. And here we get to use our KCF, not KFC, but KCF. KCF. We're going to keep 9/10. We're going to change the division symbol to multiplication, and we're going to flip this to be 5/2. Now we just multiply straight across. 9 times 5 is 45. 10 times 2, 20. And now we can divide that out. Do you see how many 20s go into 45? Okay, we can pull out 2 20s, and we're left with a remainder of 5. So this equals 2, and then a remainder of 5 20ths. And then we can simplify that further. So 5 can divide by 5, and 20 can divide by 5. We leave the 2 alone. So 5 divided by 5, this is like our big 1, is 1. 20 divided by 5 is a 4. So 2 1/4. So we actually get a really simple answer from something that looks like a complicated double fraction. But 9/10 divided by 2/5 is 2 1/4. All right, number 7. Carrie purchased a table for $458.79 and 8 chairs, so table, and 8 chairs. Each chair cost $82.59. $82.59 times 8 chairs. What is the total cost of the furniture before tax? So we have $458.79 plus 8 chairs, and each chair was $82.59. And so we're going to put this together. So let's do $82.59 times 8. 9 times 8 is 72. 8 times 5 is 40, plus 7 is 47. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 plus 4 is 20. 8 times 8 is 64. 64 plus 2 is 66. And then I have 2 decimal places. When you are multiplying, you wait till the end and you count up your decimal places. So I've got 2 decimal places, so 1, 2. So 8 times 82.59 is 660.72. So 458.79 plus 660.72. I'm actually going to put this underneath here though so I can add it easier. 660.72. 9 plus 2 is 11. 7 plus 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15. When we're adding, we line up the decimals. 8 plus 1 is 9. 6 and 5 is 11. 6 and 4 is 10, plus 1 is 11. So the total amount before tax is going to be $1,119.51. So the table and 8 chairs cost $1,119. We usually put a comma when we're talking about dollars, and 51 cents. Number 8. Carrie decides that 8 chairs are too many in the dining room and returns 2 of them. How much money will he get back What was the total cost of the furniture he kept? Okay, I'm going to point up because it's talking about the problem from before. So returns 2 chairs. Money back. New total. So those are my 2 questions I need to answer. All right, so 1 chair is $82.59. So if we're taking 2 back, that's 2 times $82.59. So 2 times $82.59, $82.59 times 2. 9 times 2 is 18. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. 2 times 8 is 16, and I've got 2 decimal places here, so 2 decimal places here. So he'll get back $165.18. What is the new total? Well, let's take $1,119.51 minus 165, which is what he's getting back. $1,119.51 minus the money we're getting back, or the money that Carrie's getting back. Oh, I didn't line that up right. 1,119.51 minus 165.18. Okay, I had to rewrite that because it's really important that you line up the places while you're subtracting. And I moved that subtraction sign too far over. Okay, 1 minus 8. We're going to have to borrow from the number next to it. So 5 becomes 4, and this becomes 11. 11 minus 8, well, 8, 9, 10, 11, that's 3. 4 minus 1 is 3, decimal place. 9 minus 5 is 4. We're going to have to borrow here because 1 cannot subtract 6 on its own. So we're going to turn this 1 into a 0, and this becomes 11. So 11 minus 6 is 5. 0 is going to have to borrow this 1 next to it. We don't have to write anything because there's nothing here to subtract. So we'll just say 1, 0, which is 10 minus 1 is 9. So now the total amount spent on 1 table and 6 chairs is $954.33. So Carrie got $165.18 back, bringing the total to $954.33 for a table and 6 chairs. All right. Let's double check that I answered the whole question. Carrie decides that 8 chairs are too many and returns 2 of them. So 2 chairs. Okay. How much money will he get back? That's what he got back. What is the total cost of the furniture he kept? The total is now $954.33. Okie doke, we got it. Let's do number 9. Bryn has to practice her instrument for 180 minutes each week. On Monday, she practiced for 28 minutes. She spent 34 minutes practicing on Tuesday, no practice on Wednesday, and practiced 42 minutes on Thursday and 47 minutes on Friday. How many minutes must she practice over the weekend to have the required number of minutes? Okay, so Bryn has to practice for 180 minutes each week. So 180 minutes per week needed. So on Monday, 28 minutes. On Tuesday was 34 minutes. Wednesday was 0 minutes. Thursday, 42 minutes. And those are not negative signs, those are just dashes. I guess we'll make them equals so it doesn't look like negatives. Okay, Friday was 47 minutes. And we'll put minute instead of M because M kind of looks like meter. Okay. How many minutes must she practice over the weekend to have her required number of minutes? So weekend. So which of the following could be used to solve this problem? So we could say 180 minus each one of these and then get the total. Or we could add all of these together and then subtract that total from 180. So I'm going to write that out, what I just said. So 180 minus 28 minus 34 minus 0. So I'm not even going to write that one. Minus 42 minus 47 will equal needed hours. Okay. Or we could add all of these up together to get a total. 28 plus 34 plus 42 plus 47 and get that whole total first and take away that total from 180 to get our needed hours. So we've got some options here in the problem, in the question that it tells us. One is 180 minus 28 plus 34 plus 42 plus 47. 2 is 180 minus 28 minus 34 minus 42 minus 47. And number 3, option 3, says 180 minus the total of 28 plus 34 plus 42 plus 47. Well, as we already wrote here, 2 of these are going to be correct and 1 of them is not correct. Can you see which one is not correct? Can you see why that one is not correct? This one right here, this is not correct because the person forgot to say you subtract all of this together first. Right? If you did 180 minus 28, you're going to get 160, 152. So you get 152, and then 152 plus 34 plus 42 plus 47. This person's gonna have over 200 hours to have to do on the weekend. That doesn't make any sense. So this one is not correct. So we've got to do whatever option gives us 2 and 3. So A says 1 only. This is what it says on the worksheet. A says 1 only, and these are like Roman numerals. B says 2 only. C says 3 only. Well, we know it's not only, so those are all incorrect. D, 1 and 2. E, 1 and 3. No, anything with 1 is going to be wrong. F says 2 and 3. And G says 1, 2, and 3. Well, no, not 1. So F is our correct answer here. All right, last problem, number 10. Simplify. 12 divided by 2/9. Well, remember, this is just like a big fraction. We can rewrite this or a big division problem. 12 divided by 2/9. 12 divided by 2/9, and then we keep, change, flip. So we'll keep the 12, we'll change that to multiply, and we'll flip this to 9/2. Uh-oh, the 12 is a whole number. We don't have a fraction. What do we do here? Well, if it's a whole number, it's out of 1. We just put a 1 underneath. Now we can multiply straight across. 12 times 9. Let's use a generic rectangle, because this is how I would do it in my head. So I'm going to show you how I'm thinking about it in my head. I'm going to separate the 12 into a 10 and a 2. A 10 and a 2. 9 times 10 is 90. 9 times 2 is 18. And when I put those back together, I will get 108. So 12 times 9 is 108. Divided by, and then over as a fraction, 1 times 2 is 2. Well, these are both even, so I can divide the top by 2 and the bottom by 2. This is like my giant 1. And I'll get a new answer. Let's move this down here. So 108 divided by 2. I'm going to use a generic rectangle again. Think about this. So if I have 100 in the hundreds columns, I have nothing in the tenths column, so I'm just going to kind of leave that blank. And then I have an 8 in the 1 column. And I'm dividing everything by 2. Well, 100 divided by 2 is 50. 8 divided by 2 is 4. I have nothing in the tenths place, so there's nothing there. And now I add this up. This is 54. So 108 divided by 2 is 54. And 2 divided by 2 is 1. So that's just 54. So my answer for 12 divided by 2/9 is 54. And you don't even really need these generic rectangles. This is just to show you how I would do 12 times 9 in my head and how I would do 108 divided by 2 in my head. All right, thanks guys. Let me know if you have any questions.